Hi, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's Mary, and I'm here with this week's edition of 90 Days in 900 Seconds, The Other Way, Season 5, Episode 2, Long Distance Medium. If I was going to give this episode a grade, I would give it a solid C minus. And let's set 900 seconds on the timer so I can rip right into this. So we're going to start off with Holly and Wayne. And you know something, Wayne? I feel really bad for you. I'm going to tell you why. So we start off, Holly and her mom are getting ready to go to South Africa. And Holly cannot wait to live her fairy tale in South Africa. Yes, you heard me correctly. Holly thinks that she is going to live her Disney princess Rapunzel fairy tale in South Africa. Yes, where they have government controlled blackouts, where she was robbed twice the last time, where she fears for her safety, but she is going to have her fairy tale come true with her knight in shining armor. Okay, so she's been flying for 38 hours and she feels like total crapola by the time she gets off the plane. Now, Wayne is totally excited to pick up Holly. He's at the airport with his flowers, 2.5 hours waiting for her. And he's like, where the heck is she? Holly's in the bathroom for a really long time. Okay. By the time she gets out of the bathroom, her and her mother gets through customs. He's like standing there. The flowers are like dying. Okay. He's like standing there so long waiting for her. She finally gets to him. And the first thing she says to him is, don't kiss me. I've been puking all morning. And he's like, gee, thanks. Okay. He says, you feel pale. She's like, I've been puking all morning. Mom is like, he seems nice. I've only talked to him over video call. We have to see how things go. Mom, totally get where you're coming from. Totally get where you're coming from. Okay. So Holly's like, before we leave the airport, I have to sit down and take off my socks. I've been traveling for 38 hours. I have to take off my socks. My feet are sweaty or whatever. So she's like wearing this dress, right? And these boots and socks. And so she sits down and like her boobs fall out of her dress. And Wayne is like, your boobs are falling out of your dress. Your ass is hanging out of your dress. And he says, he just doesn't like this. Like he doesn't like Holly's style. He feels like Holly dresses in a provocative sexual way. And other people look at her in public and look at her in a sexual way. And he just doesn't like it. Then I think Holly and Wayne break the record for getting into an argument the quickest in 90-day history. They argue in the airport even before they leave the damn airport about where they're going to live, because Holly insists that they're going to move to a gated community. And Wayne is like, I upgraded security. I've done a lot. I've invested a lot in the house. I get it. You've done a lot and you've given up a lot to move here. I get it, but I've done my part as well. And Holly basically turned to him and said, well, you won the wife lottery. This is going to be very, very interesting. Wayne, buddy, I think you have quite a roller coaster ride ahead of you. That's all I'm going to say. Now, moving on to a roller coaster ride, we are introduced to TJ from India, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his Indian name, so I'm going to stick with TJ to be safe. And Kimberly from Alabama. So TJ is an interesting one. He does voiceovers and commercials for a living, and he does a wide variety of voices. Really cool. Okay. Kimberly's an interesting one as well. She's clairvoyant. She receives messages from her spirit guides. Her spirit guides talk to her and tell her which way to go. Apparently, her spirit guides are not speaking to her loud enough to tell her that this is a potential fucking disaster. But we'll get into that a little bit more. Okay? So, TJ saw Kimberly online and he sent her a message. But Kimberly didn't answer it right away because Kimberly thought that TJ was one of those Indian scammers. So she meditated, and according to Kimberly, she had a dream that she should respond to the message. So she decided to respond to the message, and they clicked. So she went to India on a year for a year on a student visa. She had her own apartment, and within 3 months of meeting him in person, she accepted his proposal, and boom, they're engaged. So it's very rare in India that there is a love marriage, as we've learned in the past. Jenny and Sumit, Jen and Rishi. So TJ and Kimberly are very lucky that TJ's family loves and accepts Kimberly, and they are willing to let them get married. And they're not arranging TJ's marriage, so they're very lucky, okay? So Kimberly, she's gonna have to, though she's gonna have to adjust to the family, you know, and the Indian tradition and the Indian culture. Yes, we know you're American, Kimberly. You're an Italian American, as you pointed out later, when we learned that you are not going to be able to cook garlic or onions in your apartment that TJ is building on top of his parents' house. See, you will have privacy. You'll have your own little space on top of TJ's parents' house. But Kimberly, did your spirit guides tell you you are moving to India? So you have to conform to their culture and their traditions now. So yes, you're going to have to take care of the elders, TJ's parents. And yes, as TJ's brother pointed out, the household duties are going to be divided between you and his wife when he marries his future wife. Okay, so all the stuff is going to have to be worked out. Kimberly, if Indian tradition says that garlic and onions are pungent and bad spirits and such, you abide by that. It's called being respectful and abiding by the culture and the tradition of the household that you're living in and the country that you're living in. If you want to cook a lasagna with garlic and onions, go home for a holiday and cook a huge lasagna with garlic and onions. Just saying. So apparently Kimberly's spirit guides aren't speaking to her loud enough, and she's concerned about, you know, all of these details with the apartment and the shades of pink, and she's not being heard loud enough by TJ, and sometimes TJ brushes off her concerns. Meanwhile, TJ is talking to his parents and his family, and they have their own concerns, rightfully so, about Kimberly adjusting to their culture and taking over household duties and such, and not cooking garlic and onions and such, which I totally get it, because I see this train wreck going off the track very quickly. And it's sad because they don't have the barrier of parents and family, as did Jen and Rishi and Jenny and Sumit. Kimberly actually has the parents' approval. All she has to do is get her head out of her ass and adjust to the culture and realize this is what she's marrying into. And hey, either you're going to do it or not. Like, I don't get it. But anyway, so Kimberly has a YouTube channel. Awesome Affirmations. She looks at the positive things in life, and that I give her a thumbs up for. Even though she wraps herself in bubble wrap and throws herself on the floor and talks in a funny pirate voice, she tries to make people laugh, give them positive thoughts, positive affirmations. And hey, I'm all for that. But Kimberly, don't play with the guy's emotions. If you're not going to be able to, adjust, then don't marry him. And don't jump into the pool. Don't jump into the deep end if you can't swim. Just saying. So, she's having a conversation with her dad and her stepmom, and she's just talking to them and sharing that, she feels like when she tries to share her concerns with TJ just kind of like brushes them off. Like I said, I don't see this, turning out too well, but we shall see. Next, we have Kenny and Armando, and I do not like how I feel like this is scripted drama. I'm going to say this. I feel like this is scripted drama, and I don't like it. Okay, Kenny is going to the supermarket, and Armando is going to let him shop alone in a Mexico City supermarket where no one speaks English. Okay, so Armando and Hannah are just in the background while Kenny is trying to shop for ingredients for chicken soup. He's able to get the chicken, he's able to get the vegetables, but when it comes to the spices, he wasn't able to get salt and pepper because the person had no idea what the hell he was saying. And Hannah's like, oh, well, I guess the broth is going to be tasteless. So Armando just had to rub it in that Kenny's going to be helpless in Mexico City. He cannot expect Armando to hold his hand around the whole city and blah, 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 blah. So while they're having their, talk, Armando's like, I can't help to feel that I owe this move to you because you moved from Florida to Mexico and you moved your whole life to me, that I owe this move to you. And Candy's like, hold up, wait a minute. What do you mean that you owe something to me? This is not a competition. We're not keeping track of who did what for who. I don't like this because then this starts resentments and blah, 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 blah. I say, hold up, wait a minute. I don't like this either. To me, this all feels like scripted drama. I feel like the minute the camera's off, it's like, okay, Armando, you can stop being so serious. Yay. Let's pop a bottle of champagne. Let's celebrate. We're here in Mexico City. Like, I don't like this at all. Stop it, stop it, stop it. That's all I have to say. Moving on. Now, we have Julio and Kirsten. Now, dun, 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 dun. Kirsten is stuck in customs. JFK Customs has pulled Kirsten over. And let me tell you, for someone who has dealt with JFK Customs, for an unsealed bottle of water at the bottom of my carry-on bag, they do not play. They will practically strip search you for a bottle of water, okay? So Kirsten has been pulled off the customs line, and apparently they thought that she was trying to smuggle drugs into America or some shit. So she finally got off the line. She's in Julio, or like she says, Julio's arms, and they go off. So Julio decides to give her the grand tour of Times Square. Times Square is really cool, but it's overwhelming. And, she cannot wait for her darling Julio to move to Amsterdam to be with her. But one thing Julio is going to need to do is learn Dutch. And as Julio admits, Dutch is not an easy language to learn. He tried to download Dutch 101, but he got as far as hello, goodbye, and the curse words. But Kirsten points out that it's going to be hard for him to communicate, get a job, do basic shit if he doesn't learn Dutch. And Kirsten's like, I'm just hoping you're not having second thoughts about the move. And Julio, her dear Julio, is like, no way, I can't wait. So Next step is Kirsten is going to meet mom. So dun, dun, dun. Okay, next. Bradan and Mary. And if you guys haven't checked out my exclusive Oy vey spoiler, please do. Unless you don't want the storyline to be spoiled, then don't. But Bradan and Mary, Bradan is going fishing with his godparents for one last time. But of course, Mary is with him. Okay? Mary is with him on the phone. So his godmother admits having Mary on the phone 24/7 makes a tense, makes it tense because they can't have a private conversation with him. I mean, it's just tense with her around 24/7. But they're going fishing for one last time. Mary's sleeping. I saw a tweet, which was really funny. That's probably a screensaver of her sleeping while she goes out partying with her friend. She slaps up a screensaver, and he's so dumb he falls for it. But anyway, so it turns out that good old Bradan has sent Mary between 50 and 60K over the last year so they could build a house in the Philippines. Her house has been destroyed by a typhoon. So he's going to the Philippines with $250 in his pocket. Chalk that under not so smart. Really dumb move. But okay, he's going to do it. And yeah, if anything happens while he's over there and Mary decides to kick him to the curb, he's screwed. He has no money, doesn't speak the language, and Mary could kick his ass out of the house and there's not a damn thing he can do about it, basically. So he's going over there. His godparents drive him to the airport. His mom meets him at the airport. His mom is really, really emotional. I don't blame her. She lost so much time with her family due to drug addiction. And I bet you she beats herself up every day because of it. And now that she's just trying to get her family back together and repair her relationship with her kids, her son is going off to the Philippines. And she's afraid she's never going to see him again. So she begs him, please, just because I can't be physically there for you, don't cut yourself off emotionally from me. And he's like, no, mom, I promise I'm going to call you, video calls, etc., etc. So his mother's like crying, his godmother's crying, and he's like, bye. And he gets on the plane. He's on the plane. He has 3 flights, okay? 3 flights. The first one, it's a short flight. It's from like Oregon to Los Angeles, okay? 3 flights. 20 minutes into the flight, he texts his dear Mary to let her know he has Wi-Fi and his plane is taken off. Let me see who's sitting next to you. And he's like, there's a woman sitting next to me, but there's a girl, but there's nothing I can do about it. Oh, you always have to have a girl sit next to you. Fuck you. And she basically like rips him a new asshole, starts fighting with him like the whole way, and basically halfway like through his trip tells him, I don't want you to come here, and like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, so on that first flight, she fought with him so much that he got his seat switched to an empty seat. She is fighting with him throughout the whole time. Are you kidding me? She's an asshole. I don't even know. And he hasn't even gotten halfway through his flight. And this is happening. When you pick your seat, like you said, you can't see the gender of the person sitting next to you. So anyway, that is all. for this episode of The Other Way, season 5, episode 2. And these couples, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know where Sharp finds them, but this season, the train is going really fast. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much, guys, for watching me. Please subscribe if you don't already. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell, and share my video with a friend or 10. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye.